Good morning, everyone. This is Rabab Ibrahim. I am an English coordinator in the ELC Center, Forest University in Alexandria. We welcome you all, and we hope that you enjoy today's enriching webinar. On behalf of the ELC Center, would like to welcome you all and would like to let you know about our institute here. Forest University serves around 14,000 students and offers a wide range of undergraduate and postgraduate programs. The English Language Center is one of the four centers that provide services to PUA students, and the ELC provides ESL courses to all the undergraduate students. And in each semester, around 4,000 students register to take their English classes with us. Um, we are accredited Cambridge CELTA Center, offering internationally recognized professional development courses such as CELTA, Delta, and other respective preparation courses, as well as the TKT and regular webinars. I'd like to inform you about the upcoming CELTA program. It appears on the screen with the schedule and whether they are face-to-face classes or blended or online. And this we have here as a QR code where you can actually scan it if you'd like to reach us. You are more than welcome. How can you reach us? Okay, so as you can see here on the screen, you're welcome to take a screenshot or scan the QR code. This is how you can contact us if you're interested in any of the courses available in the English Center. Now today's webinar is by the esteemed Miss Anna, who is an award-winning educator. She's a UK Standards Office CPD accredited international speaker. She's a certified British teacher trainer, university language teacher, HE lecturer in Ireland, UK, and MENA. And what is so interesting also that she's a neuroscience coach, an educational consultant, and chair of the TEFL Kuwait Neurolinguistic CIG. She's an accredited specialist in neurodiversity informed practice and medical device science. She's a registered therapist with a strong background in integrative counseling and psychotherapy. Based on her extensive research, experience, and broad expertise in seven specializations, Ms. Anna has created a unique method teaching with therapeutic techniques, which brings remarkable results with neurotypical and neurodivergent students. And she received the Global Teacher Award in 2024 and was also nominated for Cambridge and Pearson Teaching Awards. Welcome, Miss Anna.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation. Hello, everybody from all over the world. I know you're joining us from different parts, so
Yes.
that's a pleasure. Well,
The
yes,
pleasure
I'll
is
be
us.
showing
Yeah.
some
Now,
insights from
mm,
different domains. So I hope that's going to be interesting. Let's share our knowledge. Sharing is
yes,
caring. And well, what can I say?
the
Think
floor
without
is yours.
further
The
ado.
floor is yours now.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to share my presentation, but as always, I encourage self-reflection too and questions from the audience. Now, we'll have some time allocated at the end. However, I'll be checking also the chat box there. And yes, please participate and let's exchange our ideas. I'm going to share a presentation right now. There we go. And full screen. Fantastic. I just read a few comments. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It's always great to see all new faces and the familiar ones. So, the topic important across generations beyond borders. This is what is happening right now. Creating impactful. This is important. What does it mean? Impactful to you? Because in different settings, it can mean something else, right? And culturally and linguistically inclusive. Now, the word inclusive, now important as well for a few reasons. I will mention that, but I leave it also um, for other slides. But keep that in mind, okay? Impactful and inclusive. As a teacher, how do you understand that? How do your students understand that? There's something called projection, right, as well, that happens a lot. Or we have different experiences, and sometimes we may not be brave enough to implement certain things into our lesson plans. Okay, here's the question to you, and I'll be checking the chat as well. What does it mean? An impactful session. How do you understand that? And who should make the impact? Is it you or your students? Sometimes teachers think that, oh yeah, it was a great lesson, I had a great lesson plan, people were participating, but is that enough? Okay. Someone says, both of us, indeed. And on the scale 1 to 10, 10 is the highest. How about you now? How confident do you feel about teaching various generations? We're talking about cross-generational sessions, various generations. So you may be teaching just in general, one group or two age groups, and then suddenly you need to switch or you're in a different setting. How about that? Okay. So continuous professional development is key. And yeah, we have different answers. Fantastic. So some uh, brave ones there as well. Indeed, the more you learn, you need to be a role model as well. If you're showing different strategies, techniques, your students will follow as well. Okay. And the impact does not finish just in the four walls in the classroom. That's what I think. I hope you agree. And some questions as well. Uh, yes, if the learners are able to produce and project something, yes, absolutely, that's a great success. At the end of the day, we are facilitating the process, so it's not about us as such, right? Brilliant. And now, from connection to content, sometimes we focus a lot about what it's going to be, um, kinds of activities. Yes, that is all important, but first build that rapport and that connection. Different age group, different approaches. From content, then later on, you can think about the impact that you are going to shape. That's the good word, I think. So the general meaning, if you look it up in a dictionary, is going to be strong effect or influence that something has on a situation or a person. Let's think about it. On a situation or a person. So it can be situational, yes, stemming from the activity as well, but the person too. So the thinking process, metacognition, it may not happen directly in the classroom, but later on, this is the impact. Later on, teachers and students should take something, rethink that, and yes, this is the impact, all right? So sometimes we may not see it in the classroom right away. What are the skills that we should hone? Well, in my opinion, it's perspective taking, then negotiation, and then mediation. Not meditation, mediation. Okay, they're similar. Why this is so important? Speaking about different age groups here, different generations, well, we all have different perspectives. Why? That's natural. That comes from the culture, from the place, from the experiences, from our exposure. Like right now, you're already expanding your, I'd say, horizon. And that is great, but we need to learn that too as teachers. So being humble, I always say that, no matter how much you know, or keep going, and try to learn the different perspective. And as a therapist as well, teacher too, but a therapist, I've noticed that that helps a lot. Okay, if you kind of listen, but with that intention of understanding, not just to answer, to react right away. Negotiation, why is it important? There might be some mismatches or um, some situations of misunderstanding. And this is, I believe, the perspective. It's not that someone is right or somebody is wrong. Apparently, there is no such thing. Okay. But it's the meaning that we put onto it. Okay. This is your perspective and you can justify it. Perhaps you have that in classrooms as well, that um, a learner, a student at any age, I say like primary, secondary, or university level student would come and say like, well, this is what I think, and this is great. I say like, show me your perspective. So it's not about the task or yeah, it has to be done one way. No, encourage different perspectives and created psychological safety as well, that students do not feel judged or that something again is like far, far away from bias, okay? Something is not just right or the only way to get there. I'm focusing on the process. I hope you agree. And that helps with negotiation too. You need the language for that as well. So look how that all comes together, okay? Negotiation as well as mediation are bits or elements or aspects that I think should be explored a little bit more in the classroom. Why is that important? Well, it's not just a debate. Um, there's something more to it. Think about it. You actually are coming from the position that you want to make kind of friends, first of all. Well, you're open-minded. You are open to absolutely anything without the judgment. And then mindfulness helps too. So you're in this present moment, you're open to what is going to happen, you're respectful, okay, empathetic, open-minded, and that all comes together. This is necessary, okay, rather than like focusing one activity, what's next, assessment. Absolutely not. So my other point would be when you're working with culturally and linguistically inclusive classrooms, take this on board, this point, because in certain languages, even how we express what we think, okay, reformulating, rephrasing, paraphrasing, summarizing, well, sounds different. So, yeah, please keep that in mind. I mentioned here reframing. Yes, it's one of the techniques when it comes to CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, but also a huge part of neurolinguistics. So what we hear is going to impact or we're going to react our neurons inside our brain, and that's going to be a new experience. Now, we may have like a program, I call it like NLP neurolinguistic programming as well. We operate on a certain let's call it as it is, software, okay, or program, that we expect certain things, we presume, we assume, or we are ready, kind of, with a template, what should be done next, or how we're going to react. But I'm talking more about responding rather than reacting. You see, this is that cognitive science. What is happening in your mind? If you want to be more respectful and mindful, working with different age groups again and across generations and cultures, this is that kind of switch on and off. So a few minutes to pause and knowing what is happening in your body. It can be the reaction from hormones, neurotransmitters. So a lot of other things that I'm going to show you today. So let's keep going. For now, I want you please to think about integrating knowledge from other domains. So it's not just pedagogy, it's not just methodology, and yes, teaching our learners to navigate that process for themselves. And that's going to be easier for you too as a teacher. Questions. What do all generations have in common? If we want to build a rapport or be, again, open minded as much as we can, so we're looking at similarities first rather than differences. And what topics are you going to choose so that everyone feels engaged, included, seen, and heard? That's what I call engagement, by the way. Yes, so it's not just showing and presenting. It's like, is that interesting enough for everybody in the class? If not, what are the adjustments that I'm going to make? And can you use performance psychology? Yes, sometimes it's related to sport, but not only. I transfer that to a classroom. So, questions to you. I'm going to read some of the answers there. Oh, thank you. Well explained. Thank you so much. So, yes, keep that in mind. If there is some kind of, delay because you're joining from different parts of the world, then I'll be checking the chat in a moment for your answers, or just keep it for self-reflection. I mentioned hormones. The four main hormones can be remembered as DOSE, DOSE, just dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Why so important? Does anybody know? And as inclusive comes to play, inclusive also, please remember, is about neurodiversity. Okay, not just the culture, the language, but also in the classroom. Most likely, you will be working with learners with some specific, we call them learning differences or difficulties in some terminology, the medical terms. Um, Important to let them know to understand what is happening. ADHDers, okay, especially needs a higher dose of dopamine, which is connected with setting goals, rewards, achievement, okay, also chunking, so pieces of kind of information or one task, if you can break it down into smaller parts, everyone will benefit from that. Doing something together, again, helps with task switching. Okay, being included, belonging, so collaboration. A lot of, mm, if you can, projects or something that they like sit together. My approach is deep associated thinking. So using hexagons. There are a lot of other talks, presentations, or workshops. If you have followed me, you probably know what I'm talking about. Yes, the toolkit that you need to have includes also knowledge about neurodiversity, endorphins, achieving something, okay, as a group. And again, sometimes we need to think about the preparation for learning. So learning to me does not start in the classroom in that way. Okay. But telling our learners that, well, is your brain ready right now? It's very hard to uh, switch from, let's say, being unhappy or, well, not so good mood to a fantastic kind of collaboration vibe. It's really hard. Okay, and even teachers, like imagine yourself before a lesson or another group, etc. There are a lot of other things happening, not to mention traumatic experiences and so on, and the baggage. Okay, everybody has something going on in their life. So let's use hormones and the knowledge about neurotransmitters as well to help our learners and ourselves as teachers to calm down, okay, to have that natural painkiller as well. So using all those hormones and integrating, okay, this knowledge. We don't need to hide. You can just say, guys, how are you feeling? For me, it's not how are you? Okay, how are you feeling right now? Do you know enough about self-regulation? And um, are you ready for learning? That's it. Moving on to key inclusive aspects from your diversity. Now, linguistic and cultural, they are actually intertwined. So language filters reality. Think about it, please. How do you understand what's happening around you? Words are tools to express the perception of your reality. As a teacher, you may have a different one, and every single person in the classroom has theirs. Language is culture, culture is language, isn't it? Because this is our program, you can call it as well. But it's a system, okay? And we need to tap into someone's program and understand that system because it's represented by what we hear. Now, cross-cultural psychology can tell us more about it. As a teacher, also, you may say, yes, I understand that there is that kind of filter that we all kind of put to a conversation, to a lesson, and to any interaction. I'm wondering, do you think that's right? And some questions. I'm gonna read the answers, the questions I've asked you before. Inclusive means about students with disabilities. Am I right? Universal design for learning. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Um, if you want to know more about actually the toolkit and universal design for learning, I invite you to like get in touch, and I'm very happy to give you either activities or again there are other talks like for the British Council, the last one that I did quite recently, and that yeah includes that as well, universal design for learning and differentiated instruction. Perfect. So, why is it crucial in lesson planning that you understand cross-cultural psychology? And can you leverage this in class? So, answers. Oh, thank you. Thank you too. Yes, get in touch, guys, because we have 1 hour together, but the journey does not end there. Okay, let's talk about different dimensions, cultural dimensions, and the power distance. If you understand what is happening in someone's mind, again, across borders and generations, it can be linked to individualism or collectivism, indulgence or restraint. I'm talking now about the psychological aspect, okay? Most likely non-verbal because we do not talk about it. We just come. That there is like a package, okay, inside our head, long-term orientation. And every single time when we're asked to do something new, we are kind of breaking, okay, that pattern that we have. But you need to be willing to do that or invite different perspectives. Do you want to do it? If you're not ready for that, well, learning, deep learning, associative learning won't happen at the level we want. Okay. Uncertainty avoidance. Please think about if you're asking just like a person, a student at any age, but they are not ready mentally, yes, or if they are used to doing a few sorts of activities and suddenly you jump with culturally different task, right? There might be resistance because it's psychology, it's change, okay? And change happens gradually. So please think about it when you're designing some activities. And I said representation of the reality. It's not just verbally what someone is saying. I mentioned earlier that our words help us to present, to represent what we think, those ideas linguistically, and it may differ. That's normal. When we're talking about learning English, again, the main part, to be honest, when I have multicultural class and I have it every single day, and multiculturalism to me is tapping into that program, but telling my students that I probably know what might be going in your minds because I travel a lot. I expose myself to different cultures too, and you have to make that kind of habit, but in your mind and in your brain, thinking, yes, there are going to be some changes, okay? Adaptations. You may need time, okay? You may enjoy it, or you may just observe it first. Think about it. There's like a curve of change if you're introducing something new. So it's not instant. Think about motivation, engagement, okay? And if you're in a new place, how long does it take you to engage, to say something? Are you the same person? If you're thrown into a different culture linguistically environment, are you? Interesting, isn't it? We sometimes forget about it. Images that we show our learners or that we use, we should be really mindful because, again, it's your perception. How about inviting your learners more to share what they want? Now, with the access to information, it's so much easier, right? You don't have just a book that you have to use and that's your only resource. Include other materials. I encourage using authentic materials. I talk a lot about it in my talk for British Council and the teacher toolkit there. So um, I'm gonna read a few questions. Okay. So well, yes, it's that kind of resistance. The question asked in the chat box was, well, you can only show. There is as much as you can do in the classroom and present some perspectives, but see the willingness, is it there? But talk about it. Just just the first point is Rapport does not happen instantly or just like that. There's no magic wand. You can talk, and every group will have a different experience for you too, and they will have a different uh, perception of your lesson. That's important too. Okay. And what are the aspects? Psychological, emotional, cognitive, personal, spiritual, and social. All the aspects that you need to consider. I speed up now a little bit because I want to show you activities. Okay. Social psychology and social acuity. If you look at that case, you may say, oh my goodness, that's Zootropolis or Zootopia, by the way. Snapshot of this movie. There's a book as well. But to me, it looks like a classroom. Really, we could transfer that as well. Why is it similar in a way? Why is it similar to a classroom? Okay, you can say, well, all animals, I give you some clues. Okay, I use this in the classroom, by the way, as well. And students love that because that helps you to kind of detach yourself. You don't need to talk about your experience, but have a look, okay? Different animals at different age, speaking their own language, having their own needs, challenges, goals. They're going their own way, but they are meeting right now um, in one place. Okay, some engaged, some not really aware of what's going on around them. Okay, so we need to tap and think what we can say is just by looking, judging, kind of, but I don't like the word judging. Okay, but just having that first look, what is happening in their minds by body language, isn't it? Expressions. If you agree, you may think that, okay, yes. So she mentioned body language and nonverbal communication is so important in the lesson because this is the first step for you to build that real connection, okay? Not rushing, but all the time navigating. And then psychology will help you more insights into psychology. Let's get down to activities. Now, words that matter. What can you do in the classroom? Well, I hope you can't wait now to put this theory into practice. Scaffolding. Linguistically inclusive classroom starts with words. The origin of words, like a maze. At the end of the day, you may discover that we are all connected, okay? And there are more similarities than we may even think. Sayings and proverbs. Now and then. The point is not to just present some sayings or proverbs in different languages. You can access this sitting at home as well. Why would you need a lesson, okay? For that. Think what you can bring, what is irresistible, something that you cannot do on your own at home if you want to learn. Your learners are your resource, your best resource. So put that element maybe now and then and use the language around it. You can add like grammar there as well, expressions and so on. How was that changing? And turn it into another activity. World literature, mega collage, okay? Multisensory learning is great. So not just talking, but when you can make it, put this on the wall later, admire, or take it home, make it stick. And media, press, news, comparison. This is what I do a lot with university students, especially, again, you have a multicultural environment. And isn't that great? You pick a topic or you ask your learners to check like headlines, what is going on, or if it's the same piece of information, okay, then how it is, well, it's gonna differ anyways. Is it educational? What is the perspective there? The journalist, uh, the source. There's a lot you can do with a piece of information. You can spend a couple of minutes explaining that the language is gonna differ there. Is it formal, semi-formal? What is the audience? Because ultimately, if you have a piece of information there, an article, it's for the audience. So obviously it's gonna differ. But you can analyze it using, okay, materials from different countries. Or if it's just in English, which normally I do here in Ireland, but I can have 15 different nationalities in one class, and then another group, other 15 nationalities. So I do you know what I'm talking about? Speaking that, it's gonna be an interesting lesson linguistically and then culturally, because you can add up and build on that. Okay. So a piece of information, and of course, link it, personalize it to um, your students' experiences. Could be sport, even if some might say that, well, I don't know much about sport. Yeah. So try not to pick one topic, but just give them maybe prompts or ideas. Try something about um, maybe politics, maybe geography, fashion, celebrities, and then so they feel comfortable preparing that. Okay, they're engaged, and there is nothing more beautiful than a student just sharing, learning using new vocabulary, their perspective, what they think. And then if you have this piece of article, you can ask your learners to imagine putting them into a different role that they can be, again, the author, so like a journalist, or a person after reading, so the receiver of this piece of message, what was your impression? So basically, you are asking them to write back, okay, with their opinion. So you can do anything you like, a letter, a speech. This is great. Now, this is one of my favorite activities, okay, in a multicultural classroom. And everybody likes to express what they think, okay? We have this tendency, that's psychology. So hear me out. This is what I think. Listen out, okay? But you're doing this in a gentle way, structured way for the classroom, and interesting. Next um, activity there is the A to Z alphabet or live phrase book. If we have the alphabet, well, of course it's necessary, but it's not A is for apple and so on. Think about your own language, okay? And then what are the words that a person from a different country should know? And then you can translate it into English as well. But isn't it great? Okay, you're using this live phrase book. Formally, we need to have a certain register or repertoire that we use communicating with other people. But how about your life? I want to know more about your own life. So, what is your life phrase book? And again, it gets really interesting if you're working with Gen Z or Gen Alpha. Okay. And of course, millennials, baby boomers, anybody. I'm not now saying that one is better, but it can be because there's slang. And as a teacher, you need to tap in. Not that you have to use that slang there, but I do understand it. So it's so cool when you actually give the message, guys, I know what you're talking about. Okay? That's sometimes enough. Or what is the vocabulary you use every day and how we can go from there. Interesting, isn't it? Even when you're exposed to some formal literature, articles, and anything like that. Think where you can meet your learners, where they are at. That will help you with that perspective. Okay, that maybe it's too difficult or it's challenging. And then at home, they can do a little bit more in their journals. The big slang bang, I call that. That's basically the activity I described. Another video that you can use is available on YouTube is this one. Why is English spelling so weird? And yes, I'm saying that, an English teacher. Uh, but think the way your learners think. And as a dyslexia tutor and teacher trainer, I always say it may be easy for you as a teacher, but not for them. Can you link it somehow to different cultures? Absolutely. In short, I have a lot of slides to show you, so I'm just now showing you this, and I can share a link to this activity. Okay, when they see that the teacher actually understands their position and their struggles, what's going on in their minds. Like English, you can say it's a combination of like German, French, Latin, and so on. And of course, across the ages, you have the influence. We have the borrowed words. You can start a conversation with a video. in short. Okay. And it's fun, engaging. Another idea when you have those pieces of different literature, anything at all could be really from your learners. You don't need to do everything. Ask your learners what they like, different regions, okay, about different people from different periods, also in history, okay, different backgrounds, biographies, and so on. Combine it. First, talk about it, listen, make sure, with some free teaching that all is okay there, they will understand that. But use a multicultural dictogloss, dictation of literature pieces from various countries. And let me know if you've tried that before. Not just one piece, but a combination of that. And after reading this piece, again, it doesn't have to be the teacher reading, interesting, right? But individually, each student will read that piece that they brought, or you can switch. Of course, that is totally up to you. But then they will be reconstructing that dicto glass activity, that one, let's say, paragraph, working together. Amazing. That works just great. Another idea for you guys is using images. And I have some here. I always have some in any group, in any class. And what this is about. As you can see here, students are generating some associations based on chosen, like randomly, images. Then they can swap and use something else. Brilliant. Culturally different, like I mentioned here. This is a great activity for, could be a starter to it on a Monday morning. And yes, I also use sometimes some affirmations. And again, it's not that you have to believe that, or if you say like affirmations don't work or things like that, or affirmations are brilliant, you might have this idea. The point is, know that in some cultures it is done, okay? Or have the knowledge about something. As a teacher, you should know. If you don't want to just talk or discuss that, talk about it, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. If fitness is not your thing, absolutely fine. Um, Traveling cultures. What I'm talking about is being sensitive, but at the same time, okay, go around the classroom, get some ideas from them. So you feel safe enough presenting like these things, or cards, feel good cards, okay, are universal. Things that I'm showing here, universal. So we're not talking about um one thing, but if you say beauty here, or nourish, or laughing, you can just have a beautiful grammar lesson. So associations based just on grammar. It doesn't have to be a discussion about one single topic always. Okay. You can ask learners to create a story. What else is coming to their mind? Why they chose this? Metacognition, okay? How much they know, what they want to share about this topic, etc. Okay. Next, basically, you can even have that on the wall, that self-confidence is the key, and critical thinking skills. Incorporating emotional reflection and nurturing a strong sense of belonging. Is there a chance for you as a teacher to go around the class? Okay, that's more like of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Okay, if you're a good observer and listener, you can actually repeat the words, you can write them down, okay, but use the language your students have presented there, okay, and then add more vocabulary. Please think about it, okay? Again, emotional reflection. Listen to your learners, okay? How can you make them feel valued even more, or heard? That, oh, I've seen your perspective. We kind of do it naturally as teachers, right? Going around and facilitating. But is there something more that you can foster cognitive development or emotional intelligence? How do they react, okay, to other learners' opinions, views, ideas? Interesting, right? Because sometimes, trust me, a conversation can change the whole trajectory of the lesson or someone's life. I'm not exaggerating saying that. When you can structure later on a nice deep conversation with those associations, with reformulating, reframing the language, okay, that they have used themselves first, that's amazing. It's pro-social, okay, not just the language itself, pro-social, going back to it. Next activity for you is reading, reimagined, compare, contrast, not for the sake of saying that this is different. No, absolutely not. There are dialogues. Choose stories. Like here, you might say, "Oh, these are for kids." Really, that's happening with adults right now. This lesson there that you can see, they were delighted that they can actually use different voices, and this is perspective taking, isn't it? Not just for people that you have to have and other people, and I'm imagining I'm someone else now, like in a movie. No, in a comic, in a book, as a different character. That's quite safe, okay, to do as well. Um, Neurodivergent learners tend to mask. They don't want to show exactly what they think. They need time. Quite often, I'm talking about those with learning There's an article you can access from International House Journal. Yes, I talk a lot there about storytelling, how to write poems. I write stories for kids, rhyming stories and poems as well. And I encourage you to do that and try at least. And make a list there of activities that you want to show them. Riddles, sayings, proverbs, uh, something funny, okay, emotions, different approaches, anything you like. Start with just a plan to introduce something new. There are already activities that you can take. It is on the website. I'll share the links at the end, perhaps. Forgotten wisdom, sayings and proverbs. Again, my scaffolding first and now. This is in practice. It's basically what I said. You can, from language, okay, you can turn the lesson then into a nice discussion at the same time. Um, have, well, options. I always like to say, okay, have options that you're focusing on the process, not just one, but a few. So learners a different, like mixed ability class, okay? Everybody is participating there. I do a lot of CLIL content and language related uh activities, but that's probably for a different presentation. But just mind that how you can incorporate grammar, language, and again, and that content. Wisdom from across the world. Your learners prepare their own words of wisdom. When it comes to applied psychology and neuromarketing, always please avoid cognitive biases across ages. What is that, you might say? Okay. Cognitive biases. Does anybody know in the room right now? Cognitive biases. There are 12 um, in, on average, okay? In general, we can talk about that. Um, Black and white thinking or words that, well, this age group probably will behave this way, or this is a bias that you're presuming before even engaging that you have an image of this particular age group, boomers or millennials or Gen Z is going to be disruptive, or you cannot talk to baby boomers about topics, that are quite recent, fresh about AI slaw or things like that. That's a bias, okay? Putting some kind of filters. We talk about CBT as well, cognitive behavioral therapy, that every day we can have biases, mental filtering, black or white thinking, and so on and so on. But it can happen in the classroom. Okay, so as a teacher, you need to be mindful. Moving on, you can use interviews with celebrities, something like products I could not live without across cultures, generations, symbols, logos, and colors. Different lifestyles and identities. I'll show you another video available on YouTube about business and the influence, something that happens every single time, doesn't matter the age or culture. So, um, an idea that you listen to someone and then go back and discuss. Here, 57 years apart, a conversation. Interesting. Yes, you have the language, and then you can ask your learners to go back. And if they have a different member of the family willing to have a conversation like this, different age group, they can come back and prepare that themselves and share. If they don't want to use family members, no problem. But you can talk about them, about analyzing interviews. Please have a look. Different ages here as well and different perspectives. Okay. Have you tried it before using interviews in the classroom? I'm gonna quickly read your comments. Age bias, absolutely. Yes, yes, that's what I was talking about. We think through our own experiences. So be always open-minded. This is psychology more than anything else. That helps our learners. Then recording podcasts with students, but with their own scripts, presenting different cultural, linguistic perspectives. I love that kind of a lesson. If you're able to do that, go ahead and try. They write their scripts and present. Another, I would say, area here would be moving from images, colors, and symbols, then numbers, okay, gestures, slogans. You can also talk about religions. Do not be afraid to incorporate that, okay? There's an article in Modern English Teacher, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So from different perspectives, I know some teachers that try to avoid that, like some kind of taboo. But that's life. If your learners travel and talk about it, see those things, what better place to start a conversation to learn? They are sitting in front of you and different religions, different perspectives. And again, it's without judgment. We're talking about symbols, numbers. Isn't that great? Be very mindful um, what area you want to talk about, but it is still part of the culture. So we cannot ignore it. Okay. Understanding and fostering multicultural perspectives. And again, that's an idea for you. I'm gonna say now, do you think that so far we're kind of changing the perception of a lesson? That it's not just a place to show things, do an activity, go home and forget it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not for me. And it works, so I'm sharing, guys. If your words, actions could make a positive impact, would you be more intentional about them? If you even use something like that, could, perhaps, it's like far, far away, it may not even happen. If you try reframing, if you want your class, your lesson, workshop, be impactful, try reframing and using more declarative language, stating rather than asking what if. I'll tell you why this is important. Okay. If you hear now neurons, okay, our reactions in the brain, synapses, experiences, you're trying to rewire the brain for a more positive experience. Okay. Without biases. So no words like have to, must, should. That subconsciously starts guilt, or you're going into this area of, oh, I haven't done this, oh, I can't, I'm not good enough, I should be doing this now, I must. No, 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 no. Let's stop there, okay? Using different perspective as well, neurolinguistics. If you say something like that, your words, actions do make an impact every time. What important message are you communicating next? What is the difference between the first one, if something could, and then what are you communicating? So trying to use that reframing and knowing that a word, a single word, guys, can change brain functions. Interesting, isn't it? So positive words encourage cognitive brain function, negative words activate fight, flight, or freeze response, which slows cognitive function. In short, if you're using negative language, even subconsciously, even not being aware of that much, but now you are, if you're using that language, then you're not helping your learners. Okay? Use reframing. It's gonna change the meaning of a word for a person, for learners, and stick with them. If you're still not convinced, let me show you this. There's a video available on YouTube. So a person, I am blind, please help. And share if you've seen this before or used this in the classroom. I am blind, please help. A girl comes to him, yeah, passing by, she stops, and then she wrote something on that piece of cardboard, and he asks, what did you write there? It's a beautiful day, and I can't see it. I leave you with that. Same thing, but in different words. Interesting. If you can do it in class as well. Moving forward, okay, self-awareness of what is going on and empathy. You have cognitive one, affective, and then compassionate. There are three different kinds. Most people understand the cognitive part, the affective that whatever is happening affects ourselves too, but compassion is another step. I'm going to recap now some of the ideas, show you lots of photos to generate ideas for you. Okay, and then we can talk. We can be in the room a little bit more than just 1 hour, if you like. Let's go. The whole person approach, mind, body, and brain. Okay. Observation, mindfulness, attitude, and habits. Please teach that in the classroom first. Real life and critical thinking skills. What is really happening? If I want to talk about helping others or about sustainability, environment, nature, do you think I'm going to use the one on the left or the one on the right, AI slot generated? My answer is actually both. I start with the real one. So I invite some charities, okay, real people, real experiences, educating as guests, or another thing on the right, AI slap. That is provoking. That is inducing some states, but I want to talk, especially with younger learners, about the difference. Okay, think about it. Some younger ones are so confused. Okay, they're bombarded with some pieces, images. They don't know that this is not real, actually. But what's seen cannot be unseen. They are feeding their brains with fake images and sometimes fake information, and they cannot distinguish that, differentiate. So teach critical thinking skills using something like that as well. Okay, what is real, what's not. Self-discipline and self-destruction, part of it. As a teacher, you can do as much as you can in the classroom, talking about psychology and so on. Inner development goals, mind management. In fact, there is a new article in International House Journal just now available. You can read it that I've written about the sustainable mind with activities that you can use in the classroom or outside. There we go. So, how to be proactive all the time. Teach your learners about confidence, the influence. For me, critical thinking skills across generations. You go out there, any culture, any country, any language. Okay, you are a consumer. So neuromarketing, one of my great areas. Um, Interesting. Yes, I know it can be new to you. Even learners are like, oh wow, that is great. They're your resource. You can start with what they are wearing, what their choices are, how they are influenced, and mobile phones now. don't know a person without a mobile, okay, or exposed to digital technology. This is one of the topics that you can use. All right. And maybe your brains have been branded already or rewired. Any experience is going to rewire your brain or shape your brain. This is neuroplasticity. Let's make neuroplasticity work um, to our advantage and for our learners. Okay. Performance psychology, goal setting, mentor rehearsal, and energy management. We don't talk much about this in class, but yes, is it not too long, too difficult, and so on? Process oriented mindset. Performance psychology is about control, commitment, confidence, and challenge. Have a quick look if this is a new thing for you, but you can use it in class, language classroom as well. Goal setting, achieving, interpersonal confidence abilities, risk taking, learning from experience, life control, and emotional control. Focus on similarities. We all smile in the same language. Okay. I do a lot of project-based learning. And if you want to try that sort of collaboration, do reach out, please. Or Eurovision Song Collection, motivational speeches, virtual tours for all, sustainable growth. Community at heart, again, if these are younger learners. And if you can, turn it into a competition, uh, make it public. Here, story seeds. We've written a book together, we published. If you can do that, that's amazing. So the impact that you're creating, impactful sessions, it does not end there. Now, this book can be used in a different school or in a different country and so on. So support, empowerment, and purpose. You can see now learners are holding a €5 note. It was a campaign. I said, um, pay it forward, in short. So you get the money, but you cannot use it on yourself, spend it on yourself. It has to be someone in need. So mindfulness. And then that person can stay in touch and someone will help the other person. I often do that and it works. So again, environment, you can reach out. Maybe you have some charities in your own um, country or outside. If not, we do it a lot. There are activities, workbooks for neurodivergent learners. I know that it's not a case in each country, but we use guide dogs that help in regulation, especially young learners on the autism spectrum. And we have animals on campus as well for those that, of course, like that. Yes, let's learn together, guys, across borders, sharing knowledge. These are some takes from international projects. The power of positivity. As you can see, it doesn't matter. Is it Norway? Is it Kenya? Iran, Spain? I can list now more than 100 countries that I've had the pleasure to participate in projects, organize, collaborate. We are similar. We are human beings. We've come here to learn and experience, okay? And there is no one template to use, but sharing experiences. So these are just photos for you. Yeah, for self-reflection. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. If we're talking about different generations, start with yourself. What you can give, what you can share. Are you self-aware? Do you want to discover something about yourself? And then about others. If you don't kind of love yourself, I know it sounds like a cliche. If you don't love yourself, if you don't feel or think that you're um, a human being worth participating, okay? Having knowledge, wisdom, uh, something that others can take from you. So it's giving and taking, I think. But being yourself in that process, being unique, we all are, and always dream big. So that would be, guys, uh, that's it from me. We have a couple of minutes left, and do stay in the room if you like. References. There we go. And a QR code for a feedback form and a certificate. I know that the Language Center would give you a certificate. This is an additional one, a CPD internationally recognized certificate that I can offer. You've stayed till the end, and that was some specialist knowledge shared with you. Uh, yeah, I'm happy to, guys, answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, Miss Anna, for this insightful and rich presentation and topic. And yes, we'll be delighted to have the participants share their ideas and questions in the chat box now.
Brilliant. Great. We have the references slide, no problem. Whole brain child perspective, how to nurture your child's developing mind. Why is it important? We're talking about rapport, empathy, compassion from early age, trying to do it. Understanding neurodiversity, metacognition, emotional intelligence, things that you can even share with your learners and your fellow teachers. Get some bits, incorporate that. Atomic habits, if you're changing, reflective practice for teachers. That's part of the game. And from there, you can talk about impact. From there, you're more aware how to incorporate cultural and linguistic differences. Thank you so much for the kind words. And is there any particular activity that you are going or you're thinking of trying? I can go back quickly. So this one for sustainability, students from different countries. Here, we prepared this part of a campaign in the school. It was a tree of thoughts and how we can again incorporate our everyday experiences, yes, but also every little helps, as we say, the 5 R's: reusing, recycling, etc. So linguistically and culturally, here in Ireland and the UK, there's a lot going on, and in the curriculum, you can find sustainable development goals. Yes, but you can start with inner development goals as well. Recently, it's been introduced, and this is about, again, collaborating, being, acting. There is a lot of focus, or more focus, I would even say, on how you can be more active. So, student agency before we go to activities, how they can take ownership of their learning. Okay. If you want to take part in some projects, international projects-based learning, this is also with a certificate, with some prizes for your learners. How can we use storytelling with an adult class? Oh, different ideas. So what do you want to talk about is number one. And is it multicultural? Or that question there? I'll be happy to help. Shireen, story with an adult. Not a multicultural. Okay, one. Then I would start with authentic materials because you want to make it different to what they already know. They already have that perspective, yes, from let's say one country, one culture, or something related. Yes, reaching out, finding perhaps online or on YouTube, similar topic, but turning it later on, absolutely a key thing, into a little presentation or a speech or project. Storytelling in what form? Talking about differentiated instruction and universal design for learning. You don't want to make it too easy, yeah, but at the same time challenging enough. Then few ideas how they want to go back to the topic after the classroom. Okay, so I would say here how to use storytelling. Is it going to be impactful? Is it some sort of, you can organize a TED Talk event with your class. You can invite some other groups as the audience with adults, okay, to invite, yeah, some perspectives, but just to have someone in the audience with questions, mm, presentations, speeches written. What kind of story? Motivational one? Yeah. Here I'm going through the slides, guys, to show you other ideas, just refreshing projects internationally. Yes, or neuromarketing with adults. I would encourage to use a lot on cognitive or performance psychology, because this is something, that certain topics we've already covered, I would say, if you're an adult and you've studied a little bit. So definitely something new to them. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing just to maybe see you if you wanna use your camera, and I'll be reading also any other comments, the references I shared for you. Yes, so we talked about avoiding uh, bias across cultures, storytelling, yes, mind maps, associated learning. I think this is time. Um, no, if you like, I can share um, some links. Is that a good idea? I ask. Do we have time? Yeah, those links, or we'll reach out individually to you guys. Okay, International House Journal. These are the links that I want you to use. Forgotten wisdom, sayings, and proverbs. I pop them into the chat right now, guys. There we go. Okay, another one there. Please bear with me. I'm just putting the link. There we go. It's the last journal, 56, International House Journal. Here, you might find this handy. Also, a lot of articles in Modern English Teacher. It's a UK magazine, but it's available all over the world and distributed by subscription. I recommend it. Okay, then yes, what we can do, guys, I'll show you the QR code. Let's stay in touch this way because there is so much more that I want to give you as for activities. Okay, and let's stay in touch as well. So what I do is I share my screen again to make sure that we are staying in touch. It's this one. Okay, there we go. And I skip to the last slide. There we go. The QR code is there. I can show you a link separately, perhaps. Please let me know if that is working for you. Okay, now a separate link. So there we go. I'm getting some responses already. Thanks a million. So that means it's good. And a form like that. Provide the link. Yes, here it is for you. Perfect. You're very welcome. So again, I want to, guys, thank you for being with us today. It's always a pleasure. Now, I like to learn from you too. So, what have you tried in your classrooms? I know we have different nationalities here. So, what is your favorite activity, linguistically and culturally? I'd be happy to know as well. You can unmute. I'd be very happy to, guys, like stay a couple of minutes more. Anyone?
It's a really good idea that maybe they will take time and digest the presentation and the session
Yeah.
and then contact you. And I
Mm.
scanned the QR code myself and I'm going to share in this as well.
Thanks a million.
Thank you so much, Miss Anne, and thank you everyone. And again, I'd like uh, to share with you how can you reach us, the ELC Center in Faros University in Alexandria, if you're interested in the upcoming CELTA training courses. It appears here on the screen, all the contact information and the QR code to scan it. And I just would like just two things from you here. I would appreciate your feedback. So you'll find the link, and I'll share it also in the chat box. Uh, would appreciate your feedback so much. You'll find the link in the chat box now. And now, please, I'd ask you to turn on your cameras for to take a photo, collective photo for all of us with the speaker. Um, so. Can you turn on your cameras now for a collective photo, please? Yeah. Only me and the speaker. Don't be shy. Just a beautiful
I'm shy,
morning.
yeah, and that's all right. And it's a pity that yeah, we had a lot more people at the very beginning,
Yeah.
but it's a good sign
Yeah.
if we can,
Yeah.
yeah, meet together in the morning in
Yes,
a,
exactly.
nice uh, group like that. Fantastic, nice environment.
Yes, yes,
Brilliant.
exactly.
Thanks again, guys. Let me tell you again. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you for the invitation. The journey does not end there. Okay, so I hope that guys we can do something together. I'm wishing you courage. Getting yes, lots of energy, and I hope that you're getting some voice, some ideas with the self-reflection. You'll be able to invite your learners, okay, to participate in that process. This is what this is all about. Really impactful for both, as someone said also, and you agreed at the start of the session. If we as teachers can leave that mark in our learners' hearts, also minds, this is the job done well. And I'm wishing you all this today. Thanks a million.
Thank you so much, Miss Anna, for your time and effort and expertise. And thank you, everyone, for joining on us today. Thank you so much. And see you in coming webinars.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Have a
again.
nice day, everyone. Thank you so much, Miss Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you.